Welcome back to We Need to Talk, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I am not Ginger, so of course I'm not Joe Tomlinson. Yeah, Joe is up in Liverpool talking to Ryan Gravenberch, which you'll be able to see that interview on Sky Sports in a couple of weeks' time. So instead, I'm here and I'm going to be ranking how your team has started to life in the Premier League this season. So we're now 6 games into the Premier League season, and we're going to be doing a tier list here where I kind of rank how your side has done so far this campaign. Now, of course, this is early days, and some teams have had a lot tougher draws than others. But without further ado, I want to go through the tier list so you can see the sections. The top, the very creme de la creme of the people so far, or the team so far, is the section called Smashing It. We've then got Decent. I'm thinking more of like a Joe Hart reference there, if you guys had noticed. Then we've got Need to Improve, and last but not least, Something Has to Change. All right. Without further ado, let's kick it off with Arsenal. So far at the time of shooting, Mikel Arteta's men are 5th in the Premier League table, and that's definitely not that bad, for sure. A lot of other teams wish they could be there. They're still unbeaten as well in the Premier League. However, there have been a few things where I feel a lot of Arsenal fans aren't necessarily too happy, especially when you go and see Manchester City doing what they're doing. We'll get onto them in a little bit of time. And so I'm going to put Arsenal into the decent category. They've definitely not been smashing it just yet. They've been great, and it's quite mad to say that when they've not lost a game yet. But there are definitely places for improvement in that Arsenal side. There's still been a lot of question marks over Kai Havertz and how he fits in. We've now seen him actually come out of the side. We obviously saw them in the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, and people were still complaining about him. Obviously, they had that game against Tottenham Hotspur where, leading up to it, a lot of Arsenal fans were saying that they're going to smash Spurs. And in the end, it was a 2-2 draw at the Emirates. Again, we'll get on to Spurs a little bit later on. They have been really good, and the thing is with Arsenal, I think they're just going to get better and better. But right now, at this point in the season, with just 6 games being played, they're still really, really early days. They're decent. I do think they'll eventually get to smashing it, especially if they continue to just go unbeaten. But right now, decent. From London to Birmingham now, we're going to be talking about Aston Villa, because they've had a pretty good time so far. Obviously, first game of the season, not so great against Newcastle United. But since then, it's been all right. It's definitely been decent, which is where I am going to be putting them in this category next to Arsenal. They've actually scored more goals in the Premier League than Arsenal so far. And when you look at, just briefly, looking at the defensive stats in terms of goals conceded, they have conceded quite a few. They're already in double figures. But when you think actually about what's happened, the first game of the season was against Newcastle when they conceded 5. If you take away those 5, their goals conceded actually halves to just 5 conceded already in the league. So that's not too bad, really. Now, they have lost to Everton in the EFL Cup. They've also lost their first game in the Europa League. They've also lost to Liverpool as well, and Newcastle. But in terms of the league, losing to Liverpool and losing to Newcastle United really isn't that bad. But so far, I think they made some really good summer signings. Unai Emery is a fantastic coach, and they have had a decent start to the Premier League. We head to the South Coast now to talk about Bournemouth. And let's go straight away. I think they've got to go into the need to improve section. They're currently sitting in 17th, just above the relegation zone, 2 points above the relegation zone. And they're playing nicer football. Obviously, the manager they've got now, they're definitely going for a more dominating the ball kind of style of play as to what they were playing previously. They have also faced Brighton, Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool, and West Ham. So that is not easy at all. And they're probably unlucky against Chelsea not to take all 3 points, apart from a Robert Sanchez fantastic save down to his right post. So far, they've not necessarily lit up the world. There is moments for improvement, but I think once the games they play, where they're a little bit further down the table, the teams like playing Luton, like playing Everton, so on and so forth, Wolves, that might be interesting. You might see them start to climb up the table. And so for now, they need to improve, but I don't think it's all terrible. Brentford now, and I don't know if I'm being a little bit harsh here, but it might be because we're used to seeing Brentford be one of the kind of challenging teams outside of the traditional top 6/8. And over the last couple of seasons, really impress us. I thought Thomas Frank on Monday Night Football was fantastic. Him talking about his football and how they want to play their football is just a joy to watch. But actually, they're currently 13th with just 1 win in the league. Now, they lost to Everton as well. That being said, Everton were really, really good, but that's a team where you think they should have got a result there. Apart from that at home, the loss to Everton, they have also drawn all 3 of their games, drawn to Spurs, which by no means is a bad result because they are playing fantastic football. But 2 other draws at home. It does feel like they're missing Ivan Toney, and Mbeumo and Wissa are definitely good, but it feels like they need that target man up top for them to really be linking up properly and having a really good attack. So right now, I'm going to have to put Brentford in the need to improve section. This one I might have to keep short and sweet because we talk about them all the time. Brighton, back to the south coast. They're straight away going into smashing it. What De Zerbi is doing with that side is impressive. It's fantastic. He's playing incredible football. I was lucky enough to watch them on Wednesday against Chelsea. I think one of the most impressive things about Brighton is just they can swap any player in and out of that side and still look fantastic. They probably should have beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the Carabao Cup. It didn't quite work out that way. But in the league, they are smashing teams. Obviously, destroyed Newcastle United. They are just playing such nice football. And it's so impressive. I think it's just so impressive. Like players like Ansu Fati, who were obviously at Barcelona, are wanting to come to Brighton because they know that one, they're in Europe, but also they're playing amazing football. And they are in with a shout. Obviously, it depends what happens in terms of injuries and how they deal with Europe, but they're in with a shout of possibly challenging for the top 4. And obviously, if things happen the right way, then the 5th place also gets a Champions League spot, and I would not put it past them to reach that. We go down now to 19th, where Burnley are sitting in the Premier League table. And out of the 3 promoted sides this season, it feels like Burnley are the ones that are trying to play their style of football more that they were playing in the Championship. And if we're being really honest, it's not quite working out. Now, they have faced Man City, Aston Villa, Spurs, and Manchester United, but it feels like they've been a little bit naive. They're obviously dominating possession, averaging 54% in their games, but they're not getting results go for them. So I think something has to change. Now, this isn't me saying that Vincent Kompany needs to go or anything like that, but it feels like they're at a level below need to improve, that something does need to change to get some results. Again, tough start. Maybe we'll see in the next couple of results something go their way. And they do have some really exciting players. And I'm not saying just, get rid of this kind of having more possession kind of football, but I think you've got to be a little bit smarter with how they're doing it. On to my beloved club, Chelsea. And it was interesting with this one because I was basically teetering between need to improve / something has to change. And I'm going to put them in, not that one, I'm going to put them in need to improve. Obviously, they're 14th in the table. They've only got 1 win. On the first game of the season against Liverpool, it felt like Chelsea looked really, really good and they were going to improve from there. And it doesn't actually feel like that's quite happened. Now, statistically, Chelsea look fantastic. They are smashing the stats. I think in XG, they are way ahead of where they actually are. I think there's the biggest difference by about 6 goals out of any other team in the Premier League. They're creating chances. Defensively, they're actually really solid, but it's just not going into the back of the net for them. And if it was, I think we'd be looking at Chelsea very, very differently. Now, right now is when we're kind of doing this. If we were doing it as well by looking forward, it's not going to be easy because their October-November involves them playing Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Man City, Newcastle, Brighton in the Premier League, and Manchester United. That's going to be interesting. But for now, they do need to improve. They just need to put the ball in the back of the net. Everything else feels like it's going right. Maybe I'm being a little bit naive as well. But let me know what you think Chelsea should be doing to improve. Over to Roy Hodgson's Barmy Army. Crystal Palace are sitting in 10th. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Edouard has been fantastic so far. Eze has been brilliant as well since the start of the campaign. They've got to look forward to an Elise coming back as well, having him just signed a new contract. Roy Hodgson, you know what? Fair play to him, man. Every single time, he really does surprise you, I think. Obviously, he left Palace. He's now back there. He's done a really, really good job. I think, in general, I'm going to put Palace in decent. I think when they first started the league, they looked a little bit better than they do right now. But so far, decent. To Merseyside now, and we're going to be talking about the blue half, Everton, because things recently, I will say, don't look too bad, especially after the game against Brentford, that's for sure. But before that, it wasn't looking so good. Their first 3 games of the Premier League season: Fulham, loss; Wolves, loss; Aston Villa, loss. Now, they did draw to Sheffield United, and obviously that is a kind of a relegation 6-pointer game. Now, that's not amazing from Everton's point of view, and they did lose to Arsenal, but let's be honest, I don't think Sean Dyche would have racked that one up as a win, even though Everton and Arsenal do have an interesting way their results go. But they have just beaten Brentford 3-1 away, and they did look much, much better, by far their best game of the season. So in terms of everything that I've seen so far, I'm going to put them into something has to change, but it kind of feels like that's something that might have already done it, so they're already going up. But Everton, if you keep playing like you did against Brentford, you might be doing okay. Now, they obviously beat Aston Villa as well in the Carabao Cup. That's fantastic for squad morale and for the fans too. That really is brilliant. Dominic Calvert-Lewin now back, 2 goals in 2 games. That's brilliant. If he can stay fit, that really is fantastic to have him back. Beto looks really decent up top as well. All I'm saying is they might be changing things now. Something may have changed already. Now, if you were a Fulham fan at the start of the season, much like Henry Hill is at Football Daily, things might have not looked so good. Obviously, you sold your star striker, the guy who had been the way you score goals for the last few years, to Saudi Arabia, and you didn't really get a replacement in time. You did keep Marco Silva, which is fantastic. And so things weren't looking so great. However, fast forward to now, played 6, won 2, drawn 2, lost 2, much like Crystal Palace. Now, they got crucial wins against Luton and Everton, and also got points away, obviously, against Palace and Arsenal, which is super impressive. Now, look, Raul Jimenez needs to start scoring, or Carlos Vinicius needs to start putting the ball in the back of the net, and if we're being deadly honest, you're never going to replace Mitrovic. However, you've got to be doing a little bit better than they are right now. So I'm actually going to put Fulham in decent, all things considered. I think Fulham fans will be pretty happy so far. Now, we spoke about the blue side of Merseyside, over to the red side, Liverpool. Let's just get them there straight away, smashing it. They are smashing it. However, they're smashing it by going behind first. They've had a lot of games so far now where they go 1-0 down. In fact, half of their games this season, 3 out of 6, they've gone 1-0 down and then managed to win like 3-1, which is a big testament to their kind of backing of Klopp and fighting for the manager and fighting for the fans and the game. Obviously, Núñez has been fantastic in helping in that. Szoboszlai, I mean, he just looks like the real deal. He really does. I've seen some Liverpool fans say he's the best technical player they've ever seen put on a Liverpool shirt, which is saying something, that's for sure. They're now 17 games unbeaten in the Premier League, so they really have got things firing in attack. I still think defensively there are question marks. I know people are going to say they have a real good defensive record. Okay, the stats say that for sure, but look at it. It's like there are still question marks, I think, when you use your eyes, but people might say otherwise. But they're smashing it. Fair play, second in the league. If they can keep this up and go on in a run for the Europa League, Liverpool fans will be very, very happy. Over to Luton Town now, and I do feel sorry for these guys. Straight away, we're going to put them in something has to change. They've actually been, statistically anyway, a little bit unlucky in front of goal. And considering the budget they had, it was never going to be an easy season, that's for sure. It just feels like in some games they're going to get blown away. Defensively, they can be a little bit of a mess. And I don't feel good about Luton this season. And there's a couple of teams, Sheffield United as well, who we'll get onto. It feels like records could be broken. And after 6 games, nothing's changed. Manchester City, wow, smashing it again. Get them up there with Brighton and Liverpool. First in the league. Played 6 games, won 6 games. I saw a Man City fan actually say they were surprised to have won all 6 of their games so far this season. They've played fantastic football. The only worry really is now the Rodri red card and his kind of upcoming games that he'll miss, and also any injuries. Kevin De Bruyne is out. We've seen Kovacic already pick up an injury, but they just look ridiculous. Harden looks like he's continuing it. You just sit here and think they could literally win every single competition this year, apart from the Carabao Cup, because they got knocked out of that. But in terms of the Premier League side, they're cruising. They really, really are. But, Pep's favourite competition is not in, so who really is the winner? Manchester United time now, and they've been a bit interesting. They've been a little bit interesting. Obviously, they're 9th at the moment. They did very well last year, all things considered, but they've dropped off. They've had a lot of stuff happening, obviously, in the press as well, and their PR has taken a huge hit. They've had injuries. They were actually lucky, I think, to beat Wolves in that first game of the season. The Burnley game as well, I think they were quite lucky to get 3 points from there. But sometimes you just need to win games. And like as compared to Chelsea, as I mentioned earlier, Chelsea haven't done that. And even though United, and I feel like United and Chelsea are kind of at this similar part at the moment with the way this season's begun. United have managed to get more 3 points on the table than Chelsea have so far. They've only won one game. Chelsea, United have won 3. And you might not have to play amazing, but you do have to just win. And that's what Manchester United are doing. So I'm going to put them in need to improve. But I think like this is United, this is Chelsea at the moment. Like United still are a little bit further ahead. But yeah, United do need to improve. Let me know what you guys think of Manchester United's start to the season in the comments below. Okay, Newcastle United. With everything that's happened for them, I think Newcastle United fans will be decently happy. I don't know if they're necessarily smashing it. Obviously, they did just put 8 goals in against Sheffield United. They did smash Aston Villa on the first day of the season. They have had to deal with Champions League football and maybe not the best of games away at AC Milan at the San Siro, but they'll be happy by taking a draw, that's for sure. They've obviously played Man City as well, Liverpool, unlucky slightly against Liverpool. They are 8th with 9 points already as well. Spurs have 14 and obviously they're in 4th. So there's a little bit of a distance. They don't want to kind of maybe get preoccupied in one competition, which might affect the Premier League. But that's what we've been speaking about how they've got to deal with this. They've seen the Harvey Barnes injury come in as well now. But I think decent is a pretty good way to put them in. They've got some good fixtures now up until 2024. They're still in the League Cup. Wilson as well and Isaac are both really finding their feet at the moment. Gordon's obviously been incredible as well. So I think decent. I think Newcastle fans will be happy with that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper. I don't know if I may be going a little bit over the top here, but I do feel like Nottingham Forest are having a really good season when I watch them play their football. Less so against Burnley. They weren't that great, but again, in the other games that they've played, I feel like they've been playing good football. I at first had smashing it. I don't think it is quite that. I think we're at decent here. They've nearly got 1/3 of their wins already that they had last season, which is fantastic. Their defence seems to have improved as well. They've got more support for Arione up top as well. Overall, really happy, I think, with Steve Cooper. I think the board as well will be really happy with their decision to give him a new contract last season and feel like it's paid off so far. Sheffield United now, and again, with the other bottom 3, something has to change. It's not looking great. Flat bottom of the Premier League table, expected points as well, which is sometimes a thing that you can look towards and be like, oh, well, you've been a little bit unlucky, also has them bottom of the table too, so they haven't even got that. They've got the worst defence in the league. Obviously, they conceded 8 goals to Newcastle United, but they've conceded 17 in total. Just not a lot is happening at the moment. They do have Hana, who looks decent with 2 goals. Cameron Archer's off the mark now, but really they're lacking quality throughout that squad. Heckingbottom, I think he's probably going to be the first one to go, to be quite frank. When that happens, I'm not too sure, but it might happen pretty soon. I mean, you look at what the managers that are available out there. Marcelino now, obviously Potter's still there. If they got, I doubt they get Potter, but still, there's some good candidates out there to take over, and they might have to act pretty soon. Tottenham Hotspur, Ange Postecoglou. Wow, smashing it. I just think he's amazing. Now, like, I was very lucky enough to speak to him last week, and he was just called me mate loads of times as well. But he was really, really good, man. Like, it just feels different there. It feels different. The staff feel like they're happier. They are playing much happier football. Spurs fans are so much happier. Everything is just going right for Tottenham Hotspur right now. They had that test against Arsenal. I thought they were going to lose at the Emirates against Arsenal. That wouldn't have been a bad thing if they still played their football, and they didn't. They got a draw. They're playing Liverpool this weekend, which will be another real big test for them, see where they're at. They're playing brilliant football in attacking sense. I do still think defensively there are questions. But that is always going to happen when you've got such a young defender in Mickey van der Ven and also Doji at left back, who's still extremely young. The first 20 minutes against Arsenal, he could have done a little bit better, but then he did really, really improve. Basuma, I just think Postecoglou's come in and given them so much freedom to play football. He's made them braver with the way they want to play their football. He's allowed players like Basuma and Sarr to just kind of go, all right, lads, I'm going to trust you, and they've paid him back already. Really, really impressive. I think it's fantastic, and he's smashing it. To East London now, and West Ham United. Let's stick them up there for now. They're smashing it. I mean, David Moyes at times last year was being told to get out of the club. He really was. And look, results weren't good last year. They weren't, but they managed to get that European glory happen, and it seems to have rejuvenated the side. They lost Declan Rice. They brought in James Ward-Prowse, who just looks the bee's knees with him. Pat Van Straten obviously has other opinions, but he's smashing it. He really is. Edson Alvarez, they've kind of like split Declan Rice's into two personalities and put them in midfield. It's really impressive. They're 7th with 3 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. Now those losses came against Man City and Liverpool, so don't feel like you can sit here and blame them too much. They beat Brighton 3-1 with just 22% possession. Like, they're playing the football that is getting the best out of their side. James Ward-Prowse on set pieces is just a monster and so hard to defend against. Like, they might not be playing the prettiest of football, but they're playing winning football, and really that's all that matters in this game that we love. So fair play to David Moyes, fair play to West Ham. Right now, after 6 Premier League games, they're smashing it. Last but not least, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm going to put them in need to improve, because I think when you look at what happened at the beginning of the season, I felt a little bit for O'Neill. He came in last minute, didn't have a lot of money to spend before the Premier League season started, and he's actually got Wolves playing pretty good football. They were really unlucky against Manchester United not to have got a penalty in the last minute and draw. They had other opportunities to score as well. They've just can't get that ball in the back of the net. Neto's been fantastic for them. He looks like he's back to his best at the moment. If they can keep him fit and keep him firing, he can really be a saviour for them in front of goal. I mean, they've also played Manchester United, Brighton and Liverpool in half of their games, which isn't easy. And as I've already mentioned, they should have probably beaten Manchester United, or at least got a draw. They then got a decision probably go against them in that game away at Luton Town as well. So they've been a little bit unlucky for a lot of their games. They've got Man City next as well, so good luck to them. But overall, I think they do need to improve. But I think out of actually a lot of these teams, they might have been the most unlucky so far this season. So there we have it. That has been me ranking your Premier League's team start to the season. I think that makes sense. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of the list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Get in the comments below. Let me know what you think of your club start to the season. Get in there. If you want to put one of the titles here, like smashing it or decent or need to improve or whatever, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for Sunday vibes. Check out Content Club that went out yesterday right here on Football Daily. And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to Football Daily.